Positive behavior management in a classroom and why we should use it. What is positive behavior management? Positive behavior management is a strategy that helps you prevent misbehaviors in your classroom. Your expectations and norms in the classroom should reflect the community and their cultures. When using positive behavior management, you focus more on the positive actions of students rather than only speaking to students to correct their negative behaviors. According to the Center for Transformative Teacher Training, it supports teachers being a no-nonsense nurturer in order to implement positive behavior management. Being a no-nonsense nurturer means that you're not going to allow certain behaviors, although you are still going to point out the positives that students are doing very quickly after a negative behavior. These tactics revolve around the things the teachers use, so using a positive tone goes a very long way with students. Narrating, which means to call out students for following directions and saying that they are following the direction. For example, John has their pencil up, their eyes are on me, they're ready to learn. And when you're using narration, you should not say, I like how, because then the student is only doing it for you instead of doing it for themselves, because that's what they're supposed to be doing. And it also revolves around knowing your students' needs. So when doing these things, you need to know, like, okay, I know this student needs extra help with following directions. They need a lot of reminders, but instead of saying their name all the time, I'm going to start pointing out and narrating around that student so they can start kind of looking around and they're listening to the directions being given again, but I don't have to directly speak to that student constantly. You have to make changes to your classroom management strategies. You can use whole group rewards for students to buy into the system. And this needs to be shown with consistency. So a whole group reward that we started using was a marble jaw. And when we started using the marble jaw, the students got to get 5 marbles for each group that there is in the classroom if all of them were able to move their individual clips up. If one group, one kid wasn't able to clip up, they only get 4 marbles, etc. Students should know how this stuff works so that they know what they're earning and can keep themselves and others accountable. You have to identify the students' positives and let them knowing that they are meeting the expectation. So showing them that they have the ability to do these things and they do have some independence and they are doing the right thing. And you shouldn't take away things that students earn. So a lot of that has to do with the marbles. Like, we shouldn't take them out for student misbehaviors because the students have already earned those. They just wouldn't be able to add more to them at that time, but they always have time to redeem themselves and or do better other times throughout the day. So that should be used daily through every subject. Same thing with Class Dojo. Students shouldn't get their points taken away for getting a warning. They should just get the warning, but they know that they're not subtracting the points they've already earned to earn towards being student of the month for Dojo. It is also important to give yourself as a teacher attainable goals in order for this to be successful. It does take a lot of practice. So you don't want to just jump in day one saying you're going to be able to implement all these things and do them perfectly. You want to do some practice time when this is a new practice in your classroom. So the first 2 weeks, start using more positive narrations when the classroom, maintaining order, giving the students those directives and positive praise when appropriate. Also, it helps you change your frame of mind and how you word the positive narrations. And it takes a lot of practice to get out of the habit of saying that you like how something's being done rather than explaining to the student what they're doing is the correct thing. That's something to keep in mind. Weeks 3 and 4, you start aligning your dojo points with the positive narrations. So when a student is on task, they're working hard, you can give them that compliment and then give them a positive dojo point for being on task, making sure that they know what that means and what hard work looks like. When the subject changes, if they worked really hard, even if they didn't finish all of their work, it doesn't mean that they didn't meet the expectation because they were doing it at their speed, and it might take them a little longer to think. You also want to help students recover quickly. So if they don't clip up or earn their dojo for that specific subject, you want to tell them why but not by embarrassing them. Like, give them examples of things they do really well, but when to do those things and the things they didn't do so well and what they can do better next time. And usually that would be a quick conversation in between subjects to give students an idea of, hey, this is what I need to do better. This is what I can do better. And the second you see that student improving, you want to start throwing those positive narrations and dojo points that way. And then implementing some of their whole class reward. So you're going to start your Marble Jaw at this point and how it interacts with their clip chart and having the students understand that. And the weeks 5 and 6, you want students to earn their attainable reward for the class. You want to give them these rewards so that they know that this is coming and see if it works. So after they fill the jaw the first time and they earn their party or their extra recess or guest speaker to come in, are they going to still work as hard to get those rewards later on? And if that's not working, then you have to reevaluate your plan and see what you can do instead. The expected outcomes are that students will hold themselves and others more accountable. You want it to happen frequently in your classroom because it's better sometimes for students to call each other out for misbehaviors and or off task. That way it's the teacher's voice that isn't on as much and you can kind of be like, good job helping your friends. Students will become self-motivated and continue to try their best to stay on task, especially young students. It's hard to sometimes keep their attention on what they're doing, but if they know that you are going to recognize their hard work for everything they've done, they will continue to work hard. And you want students to motivate each other, so it's not only for their own self-gratification and their individual rewards, but they're going to earn something as a whole. So they're going to tell each other to, pick up faster, pay attention to the teacher, stop talking right now. We want to earn our marbles and hold each other accountable for those things. The benefits of positive behavior management are greatly, when done correctly, students self-manage themselves and their friends' behaviors. They feel as if they're part of a community and recognize that their actions affect others. And students hearing positive feedback about their actions and work ethic make the classroom flow more efficiently. Because sometimes students are only used to hearing the negatives about themselves, so they become more motivated to hear the positive things about themselves. And I can't wait to see how it's done in everyone's class. Thank you.